Normally be one of the busiest streets in the city of Malatya, but it is now really ground zero for the rescue operation here. This was one of the worst hit cities from these earthquakes. Normally you would have shops open, cafes and restaurants, people out and about, but also many residential buildings on this street, including this one behind me. I might just go this way if I could. You can see there what remains of that apartment tower. It has just completely collapsed in on itself. You can see the traces of the lives of the people that once lived in there. I can see a wardrobe which is thrown open and all of the clothes are hanging out. Also even a small television set which has somehow managed to stay upstanding despite those major earthquakes which hit. Obviously this building has now been condemned and they don't believe there are any more survivors in there. But if I just take you for a walk down the street, it is a little bit of a different story because a couple of shops away, the search and rescue operation is still underway. You can also see an ambulance that is parked here earnestly waiting, hoping that maybe paramedics inside can come to the rescue mound and work on helping people. But it is still a very delicate situation. You can see a little bit behind me some of the rubble there and also that big digger. Now we understand, having just spoken to some of the authorities here, that they are still looking for survivors. They believe a family of three is in there, a mother and father and a child. There was also an elderly resident in there that they were looking for, but we have just learned that sadly they have found her, but she was dead. So there is now a recovery operation underway rather than a rescue operation. And also a very personal story for one of the rescuers. One of the policemen that is here working on this rescue, he actually lived in that apartment complex, what remains of it, and his son is still trapped in there. So him and his colleagues have now spent 3 days working on this site trying to find his son. He, of course, is looking not just as a policeman, but as a father. And those are the types of stories that you are hearing. It is just such a major humanitarian disaster touching so many people's lives. It has been around 76 hours now since the first of those major quakes hit. But despite that window of survivability rapidly closing and the freezing temperatures, they are just not giving up hope here. Trent Murray, SABC News, Malatya, Türkiye.